Okay, Banshee fans, we're back, man. Deputy Translucent Origin. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch the latest episode of Banshee, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. Alright, tonight's episode is called Snakes and Whatnot. That was tonight's episode. It gave us a brand new introduction to Banshee, and I'm just going to go right into it. I'm just going to read off this list because I really wasn't in tonight's episode because of the new intro, and I gave it a rating of 8 out of 10 stars, though, because it's still a solid episode. I'm just going to go off this list. This is going to be a really, really quick thing. There was a guy called Martin and Mr. Cage. Mr. Cage is the father of Martin. Martin was killed by Rebecca. Rebecca shot Martin in the legs because he was talking crap about Proctor. Rebecca and Proctor are definitely in a relationship now, which is absolutely weird because Proctor's mom, Leah, she is sick now. She has advanced pancreatic cancer, and Proctor has taken her from the Amish community, and now she's living with Proctor in the same bed that he was. Never mind. I'm not even going to mention that anymore. It's disgusting. Okay, moving on. We're seeing a change inside of Proctor. Now that his mother is sick, we see a different side to the character, and the side that we're seeing is actually one that is a caring Proctor. I mean, it's you kind of compassion for him. You're like, oh Proctor, gosh, you're going through things, buddy. So that's why your meat is not really up to par. You know, you're having so many difficulties with the meat because you're not feeling well, buddy. Your mother's sick. So now we get to see him. We kind of, we feel for him, all right? That Colonel, man, who I believe is Colonel Stowe. If I didn't get that right, that's because I didn't even look up any other names for this, and I didn't really pay attention. But I believe it's the same Colonel, man. Colonel Stowe, Colonel Murphy, Colonel Stowe, and then Murphy. Murphy is his right-hand man or whatever. The guy that was standing in the room inside the episode, which is the last episode. But you know what I'm talking about. He's a badass from Afghanistan and Iraq. He is a Marine. Now we found out that tonight he has anger issues. This is the guy that they call in, the army, the government. They call in, Marines, I should have said, the military. They call him in to take care of the heavyweight, the lightweight, all of their dirt, anything that they need them to do. He's like an assassin. He's a badass. Anyway, he stomps this dude called Haddock, which is a Marine. I guess Haddock sold him out. And if you remember that in the previous episode, you'll understand all that about the money and all that, whatever. All right, he stomps him to death, pretty much. I think he's still alive because he was still breathing, and maybe they just didn't want to do that and commit to that whole thing with the killing of a Marine and, U.S. soldier and all that stuff. But he did stomp his brains in, pretty much, and then he took him and he locked him up. And it was brutal, man. It was hard to watch, man, for me as being a, United States Army veteran. That was hard. I was really like, wow. Please, switch subjects, but they didn't. One of the cool things, man, about tonight's episode is that we got to see a little bit more of Red Bones. Red Bones was led by a few of Chayton's henchmen, and the Chayton's henchmen were told to go get Rebecca and go get Kai Proctor from their house and actually take them and bring them to the woods where Chayton and the gang are hanging out at to kill them. That goes totally awry. And last week, I believe I put this up. It might be on part 2, which isn't up yet now because I've just been, to be honest, I've been watching boxing and a whole bunch of other shows, so I'm a little bit lazy and a little bit late. But Bowtie Man, okay? I keep on forgetting his name, but Bowtie Man, he was in the water with Rebecca, and I said that he's either saving her or he's trying to kill her. And I called it because he's saving her. And I said that it made more sense, even on Twitter and stuff, that it made more sense that he was saving her, probably because something happened. At first I was thinking that he was a little bit jealous of Rebecca and Kai's relationship, because whatever. And if you watch the Banshee Origin song, welcome to Banshee.com, shameless plug, if you watch that, you'll understand the relationship between Kai and the Bowtie Man. We won't go into anything else about that. Anyway, the Chayton's guys came to the house. They tried to kill Rebecca. Rebecca fought back, and then after that, she was pushed into the water with a guy that was on her. Had his hand pretty much across here, and he was kind of weighing her down. Anyway, Bowtie Man jumped in there after he rescued her, and then pulled her out the water, and she's good to go. So pretty much, Chayton has started a war with Kai Proctor, which is going to result in death. And then Kai, when Rebecca killed Mr. Cage, that's going to result in some other issue with Proctor Meats. And the reason why Mr. Cage wanted to... the reason why he died is because he disrespected, Kai Proctor, and the reason why is because when Kai was imprisoned, Mr. Cage had took over, and Martin was just a young kid that was dumb, and he said the wrong things, and he got shot in the face, or shot in the legs and then shot in the face. And what was weird about that, I want to go pause for a second. Rebecca had the gun to this guy's head, and she turned back around. The dude's down, he's down here. She put the gun to his head, turned back around, looked at Proctor, and pulled the trigger while looking at Proctor. I don't know if that was some sort of, I'm not going to talk about it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it, but I wonder if it was that. Alright? I guess on Valentine's Day, if you go see that movie, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say anything else. Alright. Nola and Shaden, man. I wrote this down, man. He says, I am the tribe. That's what Shaden said to Nola. And he said, don't get in my way. He was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'll do it anyway. He was like, Nola, don't get in my way. Okay. I'll never do that again. But his voice is terrifying. Yeah, I told you about Leah Proctor. That's good to go. We'll switch over real quick. There's some new people inside of Banshee, and we get introduced to the Kanaho PD chief. And, because we always see Lucas Hood going on to the Kanaho tribe, which is illegal, and we know that. He has no jurisdiction, but he does what the hell he wants because he's damn Lucas Hood. No. Anyway, there's a guy called Carl Yaz. He's the chief for the Kanaho PD, and then there's this girl called Amy. You'll recognize her from... No. Not going to spoil that. But if you are a fan of something that was on Sci-Fi, okay? Not going to say nothing else, but she's on there. And if you watched the Banshee Origins on WelcomeToBanshee.com, shameless plug, you know who Amy is, alright? But she's there, and she knows Billy. Billy and her were friends, and Billy has, when I talk about Billy, you know who I'm talking about, with the dope name. I'm not going to spoil that name either. I said last video I said, go and search his name on Google. Type in Billy Banshee, and then it'll come up, okay? Anyway, he has 2 kids. We found out a little bit of backstory about him. He got his family out of the reservation because it was just bad for them, and he picked up a life on the police force, and now he works at the Banshee PD, which is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Let's talk about Gordon. Gordon, and I'll spend just a little bit of time. We're almost done. I'm only doing 10 minutes. Gordon his character is the best character right now in the season. All right. What do I mean by that? Character development. He was addicted to all sorts of drugs, painkillers, and he went through, the roller coaster. And now we're starting to see him come down from that high point, or excuse me, I guess you could say rise up from the ashes and up to a high, get to the high point. It's because he was already hit rock bottom. It depends on how you look at it. But anyway, he was at rock bottom. He was with strippers and prostitutes and all that stuff, and then he's given that lifestyle up. There was this girl named Jenny who was a stripper. You'll recognize her from previous seasons of Banshee. If you don't have Banshee, go to Amazon.com and order it. Shameless plug. And Gordon is now taking a step back from that lifestyle and trying to reconnect with his family. Okay, same thing with Carrie. Now let me pause for a second. Carrie was with the Colonel in the previous episode. Okay, starting this season. She is going through a divorce with Gordon, but they have a job now to rob the Colonel and the Marines' money from the base. She broke up with the Colonel. The Colonel then set into motion this rage inside him. He let it go. He released it, and therefore now Lucas, because whenever Carrie broke up with the Colonel asked, "Is there another man?" She said no. But Lucas was in the car waiting for Carrie, which Carrie, I don't think she knew. I don't know. Who the hell knows what Carrie's thinking now this season? She's just... I love to Carrie to death, but she's just horrible right now. Because she's just not thinking, clearly. She's just out there, whatever. I'm not going into that. Anyway, I think that he's going to find out that Lucas and Carrie had something to do with it, or something, a relationship at one point, and then after that, Lucas is going to be punished by the Colonel because of that, and it's just not going to end up good. It's not going to end up good at all for anybody. And Job is the one that's bringing out the schematics and talking to the whole group about that entire situation with that mission. Sugar Bates is involved. There was a really great one-liner between Sugar Bates. You know how they do. They brought that back this episode, which was really, really good. And that's why it stayed above a 5 out of 10 star episode, because they gave us some things that we saw and that we loved from seasons 1 and 2, and then they just introduced that right there. Let me see. Deva and Lucas, they attempted to start their relationship. Deva went over to Lucas's house, but Lucas kind of, he's focusing on the next mission that's coming up, which is going to be robbing people blind for money. But he doesn't want to get attached. He said, Deva, Gordon is your father. Don't worry about me. I'm not your father. And then she was like, you know, well, I thought you wanted to spend time out, you know, and he just couldn't express himself at that right time. And I think towards the end of the season, they'll probably build on that relationship, man. But they did address that, which was really, really cool. I think that is pretty much it. Chayton is still Chayton. There's really nothing really to report on him besides his presence on the show is becoming really interesting, because his dynamic it changes the dynamic of the show, because Lucas was the focus point, he was the focal point in Carrie, but now it's Chayton, man. It's almost like they're telling Chayton's story. And I don't know if that's to have us, you know, sympathize with him a little bit, because I kind of do have a little bit of compassion for him, and I wish they would just kind of wake up and say, listen, the white man's not after you. I know that they made some mistakes or whatever, but don't blame generations. But he's not really hearing that, man. He has that Kanaho blood running through him. He wants vengeance because of Long Shadow's death, and I think he also has something with Nola, and I think he wants to be the one that kills Kai and everybody that's responsible for that death, and then also maybe win over Nola in the end. Nola and Carrie, they did share a scene together, which was really, really awesome at a diner, and Carrie did some kick-ass stuff because those guys that she beat up in the previous episode, when she cracked that dude's nose for filling up on her and touching her inappropriately inside of that cafe, they tried to come back for vengeance, and then Nola was there, and then she just she tore them up bad. And that's what I love about the show, man, is how much, you know, female empowerment they have. And that's why I can't wait till Wonder Woman, man. It's going to be, I'm not kind of DC Comics, but it's going to be dope. And hopefully they do it in the same way that Banshee has been doing. I think that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it, man. Once again, I do apologize for the rants. It's just because this is where my heart is at, you understand? This is what I care about. I care about this show a lot. Been with it since the beginning. When nobody was talking about Banshee, I was there. I was on Twitter. I was talking about it live tweeting on my Facebook. I was everywhere talking about this show, and it just needs to do better than that. Okay, if we're gonna do this, and if we're gonna do this, do it in a way that doesn't take away from the show. All right, that's all I got to say about that. All right, never do that again. Hopefully that's temporary. All right, because when we're talking about shows like this is why Power Rangers has been around for so long, because the theme music doesn't change until the whole entire elements start to change, okay? You understand if you're a Power Rangers fan. You understand what I'm saying. Same thing with Mortal Kombat. And the reason why I'm showing this is a shameless plug, to be honest. I got some unboxing coming for you guys with some VHS tapes. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, I told you it was going to be 10 minutes. Thought it was going to be short, but I think we hit the mark. I think we covered everything. We're out of here, guys. Catch Cinemax. Catch Banshee on Cinemax. And yeah, we're out of here, man. Deputy for Banshee. Translucent Origin. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. We're out of here.